Well, it's been about a year and a half since I've had this car roadworthy, and I've enjoyed it for the better part of that year and a half. I sold it to my nephew for a little bit, but then I bought it back from him. But yeah, I've done a lot of modifications to this car. I've replaced a lot of components. I've learned so many things about modules and compatibility and getting the V8 to work like it's supposed to be in here. And then I also kind of want to finish out this video with my conclusions on what I think about the car and also what I would do differently in the future. One of the unforeseen issues I ran into with this build was actually getting this radiator fan to work. In the first clip of me rolling this car out of the garage, you can hear the fans at 100%. So come to find out, the fan relay is different and also the programming in the ignition module is different. So in order to change the programming in the ignition module, you have to have a Star Diagnostics computer, or maybe some other computer can do it, but I have a Star Diagnostics. And then I swapped out the relay for a V8 one and it's been working fine since. It works as if it was supposed to be this way. The V6 cars use a fan on the front of the radiator, which I did try to get it to fit it in the motor rubs up against the water pump. I have seen other people have success with it. I don't know if maybe they're moving the radiator slightly forward to get that stock V6 radiator fan to work. And I suppose that would maybe be the workaround. That would be a little bit easier. But I wanted an OEM look and operation to the car, so I got the original fan to work from the V8 car, but it required a new relay and then also some programming in the EIS. Something else about this project that sort of caught me off guard was replacing the hatch. In one of my original videos, we talked about the damage that was on the rear of the car. It had a puncture in the bumper trim here, which I replaced. That was really easy. It had a big old dent here in the hatch, and then there was a dent here at the taillight. I had a paintless dent removal guy come try to take this dent out. It's about 85% of the way there. It's still not perfect. But replacing the hatch was overall a very easy task, except for the third taillight. So I thought when I took the hatch off the donor car that I would just remove the taillight here because the harness is very difficult to get to up here. And as I was removing this, it basically completely disintegrated into a million pieces. So I ended up ordering a new third taillight, which you can still get. I got mine from Auto House AZ for about $50. And I put the new hatch on, got the harness all run. It was basically smooth sailing until I got to this taillight. The seal is kind of difficult to get in here, and I kind of messed it up the first time, and you can't really remove this taillight without some specialty tool. I don't know how they remove these from the factory, but it's extremely difficult. But I ended up getting this seal in here using some like silicone lube, or actually I don't know if it was silicone based, but it was some kind of lube. And I had to basically just take a tiny screwdriver and push the seal in here, and I got it. The harness is plugged in and it looks great, but yeah, it was sort of an unforeseen issue, and I haven't seen anybody else really cover the third brake light replacement on these cars. But yeah, basically if you're going to remove this for any reason, just plan on buying a new one. They are so brittle after 25 years, they just disintegrate. But yeah, the hatch looks great. There's basically no damage back here anymore. And I ended up replacing the rusty door on the back over here. That was a really straightforward replacement. The harness just unplugs near the B-pillar, slap the new door on, plug it in, you're good to go. And yeah, so anyway, that was just a weird quirk. So the last big project I had in this wagon, outside of just normal repairs, was swapping the interior to this black interior. My E430 donor car came with heated and ventilated seats, so I knew I wanted to use those. But I had to get wagon-specific parts for the rear. Basically, from the B-pillar forward, it's the same as sedan, but from the B-pillar back, it's wagon-specific. So I ended up with 3 parts cars at my house in order to get one wagon interior, because of course, you know, being a 25-year-old car, plastic brakes, things are not as resilient as they once were. So ended up with a complete interior. The rear part of the car was a little bit more difficult just because some of the panels, you have to like remove the whole rear of the car in order to get the panels near the seats out. And anyway, once you figure it out, it's not too hard. And then I also discovered that the headliner is a different color between the light tan and the black interior. The black interior has like a white or grayish headliner, and the light tan has a slightly tan headliner. I didn't know that until I compared it. So had to swap all that stuff over, but it was mostly straightforward. Now, the heated and ventilated seats was probably the easiest part of the project because the harnesses just plug in and then they just work. They don't talk to an all activity module or something like that, or a body control module. They just need power, constant power from the rear fuse block, and then an ignition signal from the front fuse block, and that's it. they just work. So the harness for heated seats and ventilated seats, they're separate, but they kind of run the same direction and in the same channels. So got that all wired up and fired up the car, and they worked. So other than that, I added a wood steering wheel, added the navigation, which if you want the adapter harness, command.co.uk sells an adapter harness that's plug and play. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just a black interior, but it's in much better shape. It's a little bit more comfortable, and I'm pretty happy with it. Something that I would have done differently with the ECU is I would have gotten it tuned. It was an extra $300. I would have deleted the secondary air injection and EGR and given me about 30 more horsepower. So I wish I would have done that at the time, but I didn't. And honestly, it's just one of those things. I wish I would have done it. I didn't do it. It's fine now the way it is. It's still faster than it was before. Runs better than it did before. I don't know. Something to think about. All right, so got this little mini highway. I'm gonna give it some gas. It's just amazing how effortless this car is. It's just so tight. Doesn't care. It's so undramatic. And there's a guy going faster than me. Probably thought I was trying to race him. Nice car though. But anyway, yeah, it's just full throttle. It didn't care. I mean, it's not dramatic, It just goes. It's not throw your head back in the seat fast, but it's decent. It's fine. It feels a lot less dramatic than it probably is, which is part of the joy of owning a German car. Is they like to go fast. They like cruising on the highway at 80, 90 miles an hour, and this car definitely does that just fine. Don't condone that, of course, unless it's Texas, where it's 85 miles an hour out there, but you know what I mean. I would never go that fast on a freeway out here in the Northwest. So I want to finish this video off with my final thoughts. I'm super happy with how this car turned out. It's been a great project. I've learned so much about the 210, working on this car. But the only thing I regret is the 4.3 liter. I wish I would have put a 5.4 in here. It would have been way more horsepower. Would have had the street cred of being an AMG motor. Especially having an E55, it's like, okay, this is a great car, but the E55 is just so much more car than this is. So when you're doing a swap, just consider that. I would be a little bit more patient, be more methodical about it. And also start off with a cleaner slate than I did, because this car needed body panels and it had a rusty door, and so finding a parts car was really difficult. These wagons are hard to find, and finding a car that's worth parting out was also really difficult. So that was part of the challenge. I had to replace the hood, the door, the bumper, the fenders. I had to do a lot of body panel replacement, and it took me a year basically to find a parts car that was worth pulling parts off of. So consider that as well. Start off with a cleaner slate than I did. Try to find a 5.4 liter. And if you really want to go for it, I would do an M113 K-swap or an M112 K-swap. So that's a supercharged V6 or supercharged V8. It does require an ME 2.8 car, so 01, 02, or 03 wagon, because they did the S210 in 03. That would be the coolest swap. I've got a couple buddies up in Seattle that have done it. Otherwise, yeah, just be patient. Try to find a 5.4 liter. That's the way I'm going to do my next wagon swap. But I don't regret this project. This has taught me so much. I love driving this car. It's super smooth. It's got plenty of power. Obviously, I've replaced everything on it, so I would trust this thing to go to New York tomorrow, without breaking down. But yeah, that's my final thought on this car. I am selling it tomorrow, which is a little bittersweet, which is also why I'm making this video. And I really hope the next owner enjoys it as much as I did. I hope they put more miles on it than I did. I only did about 12,000 miles on this car over the last 2-ish years. But it deserves to be driven. It deserves to be enjoyed, and I hope the next owner does. And that's it for this video. I have another video coming up, probably some more review videos. I bought some more cars, so try to do those. And if you guys stick around, I'll have another major project coming up too, a manual swap my E55, so I'll create a video on that. And yeah, so those are my final thoughts. I really appreciate everybody in the comments asking questions. I love interacting. If you have more questions about the swap, feel free to shoot them. I try to respond to all my comments on YouTube. Try to follow me on Instagram at PNW210. I'm a little bit more responsive there. But yeah, I'm going to be selling this car this weekend. It's a little bittersweet, but the next project will be better, and I'm excited for that. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a good one. Catch you in the next video.